Hi guys, welcome back to the 164 show. My name is Peter. I am your host. I am a Hot Wheels collector and I've been collecting quite seriously for the last 5 years. But like a lot of you guys, I have been playing and collecting Hot Wheels and Matchbox since I was a little kid. So if you do like 164 diecast cars, especially Hot Wheels and Matchbox, but Jada, Greenlight, Mini GT, and anything else that I can get my hands on, please subscribe below. We try to do weekly or even 2 videos per week on everything to do with 164 diecasts, including interviews, reveals, unboxings, customizations, and challenges. So we hope to see you in future videos, but if you do have any recommendations, please comment below. I try to respond to as many comments as possible. And if there's a really good recommendations, whether it's 164 diecast that you want me to get my hands on to show you and see if it's worthwhile purchasing, or if you have a great idea for a challenge, please let me know, maybe a content in the future. Okay, so let's get into today's content. As you probably know, if you have seen my previous videos in the last couple of weeks, I try to do a lot of unboxings and also reviews of certain Redline Club Hot Wheels cars. And I thought today's video could mix it up a little bit and do something a bit different. And we're going to do the 10 ugliest Hot Wheels they released in the last decade. So how this is going to work is this is one car per year that I have chosen that looks the ugliest in my opinion. So I respect your opinion. So if you like these cars and if you think they're amazing detail and the designers did a great job, that's good for you. These are my opinion and I hope that I think if you have an eyeball, you probably agree as well. So without further ado, let's go through some criterias. So one of the key criteria is that it's not going to be these cars are not going to be based off a movie. So most of Hot Wheels cars that are based off movies are pretty good in detail and they're respectful of the original source material. And if it happened to be an ugly car but from a movie, it's not really fair to judge a Hot Wheels. It just happens to be that car of that movie. And in saying that as well, the designers of these Hot Wheels cars make some incredible designs in their previous work. So I will mention some incredible work that these designers do, and because they don't do all ugly ones. Maybe it was a pretty slow day, or maybe they had some major project that they need to do and they just had to crank out some designs to fill out the main lines, possibly. Or I may be wrong and these designs might be incredible. You be the judge. You tell me in the comments that you hate my opinion. That's okay. So in saying that, let's get into 2021's worst car, or the ugliest car in my opinion. So the ugliest car in 2021, I will have to give it to the head gasket. I will put pictures in front of me as we go so you can see what it's about, but the head gasket, you may agree that it doesn't look that good. It was designed by a guy called Mark Jones, and he's a long time Hot Wheels designer, and obviously I have a lot of respect for the guy. Just going through his previous work that he designed the Hot Wheels Enzo Ferrari Enzo back in 2003, Aston Martin V8 Vantage. So I just feel like maybe he thought this design of the head gasket this year was pretty good. Now also remember, before we should continue, some of these are not first editions. So when I say something was ugly in one year, it might not actually be the very first time Hot Wheels did it, but the color or maybe it caught my attention of that year. That's why I am bringing it to you guys. Cool. So 2020, last year, what a crappy year last year was. In terms of design, there was the Got2Go. So Got2Go was a car that was based off a toilet or a toilet seat at the back. And I just don't know how you can perceive a design of anything that attaches the toilet to it, especially a car. And it looks odd. and I just think it's very ugly. It was designed by Brendan Vertusky. He has done some incredible work in the last couple of years, but definitely this design, it was something a bit strange and maybe something out of this world that he tried to do. It just didn't work quite well for me. Okay, 2019, I had two choices that I was gonna, it was a very hard toss-up, and the runner-up was called the Kick Kart, and it was like a mini car that was based off maybe like a go-kart, a golf cart, and it just looked quite odd. But the winner of the 2019's Ugliest Hot Wheel goes to Diaper Dragger. Even the name is actually terrible. Designed by a guy called Dmitry. Sorry for my pronunciation. That's Dmitry Shakhmatov. He worked on some incredible designs such as the Mercedes-AMG GT back in 2018, and also the movie car Cruella de Vil, which I feel like was very authentic. Just the Diaper Dragger just looked pretty bad. 2018, a little hard because not a heck of a lot of ugly ones. There was a few. One of them that really stood out, was the flash drive, and it wasn't the first edition flash drive. They did previous ones, but this year in 2018, they made it chrome silver with red accents. And this specific car was part of their Target, so the Americans would know the American Target shop, which is red and white. So I see where they're coming from with red accents in this car, but just didn't work. 2017. So back in 2017, the ugliest car in my opinion was Tomb Up. And Tomb Up, the reason why I think this is quite ugly is because, to me, I think, it's purely my opinion, just can't stress this enough, is that skulls and death and stuff that just doesn't really go with the aesthetics and the design of any car, including fantasy cars, and how the Tomb Up is long at the front, and it to me just looked very odd and it looked very grotesque, and it just didn't appeal. It was designed by, who was this by? Kevin Cowell, and Kevin is also just going back to his autobiography. He has worked on, the first project he worked on was some incredible sets back in 2007 for the Cloak and Daggers. And I feel like even for fantasy cars, those were really cool. They had some really nice design that stood out. Okay, going into 2016, there was one car that I found quite ugly. That year was Fast Gassin'. And this was part of the City Works series, so it's a lot of construction cars and vehicles. They incorporated into some fantasy look. Most of the cars in this series were pretty ugly, but the worst one was Fast Gassin'. It was a truck, but the proportions were a little bit wrong, and it just didn't look right. It's definitely something that would have stayed on the pegs or didn't sell that well. Okay. Going into 2015, literally any car in 2015 part of the Street Beast series. So this series was based off Hot Wheels trying to incorporate insects world or animals into Hot Wheels, and all of these, pretty much every single one of these were ugly. The worst offender was the Piranha Terror. They tried to make a piranha into a Hot Wheel, and as you can see from the results, it looks pretty hideous. And oh, that was a treasure hunt as well. So they definitely knew that this wasn't the best design, and they wanted people to buy it, and they made it into a treasure hunt. Down to 2014, this was a tricky one because the ugly car from here was designed by an absolute legend of the Hot Wheels design. They call him Mr. Hot Wheels. So I don't have any disrespect for this guy because he has designed some incredible pieces, but the Rodzilla. Now, the Rodzilla was part of the Medieval series. This was also not the first edition, but just to kind of bring it to the 21st century, it just doesn't look right. It just looks like something from G.I. Joe or some other toy series that they fight with animals, and it just doesn't look like a Hot Wheels even as a fantasy car. Sorry, it was designed by Larry Wood. So you may know him if you have been following and you're a Hot Wheels collector. Incredible designer, been with Hot Wheels or Mattel for a very long time, since maybe the late 60s, so one of the early pioneers of Hot Wheels. But Rodzilla just doesn't look right for especially the 2010s. Cool. 2013. Now, one of them here is, what did I choose? Diesel Boy. It was designed by a designer called Jun Imai. Once again, a lot of respect for Jun. Like a lot of these designers do incredible work. He has worked on a lot of JDMs and also American Muscle, but his work such as the Honda Civic SI and especially the Datsun 510 wagon, I have a lot of respect for. I think that is incredible, and they respect original source material, which is the 510 wagon and the Honda Civic. But the Diesel Boy, especially in the green color, was definitely quite ugly. Cool. 2012. So we did 2 more to go. 2012, I want to go with Jaded. It's because they obviously did try to make it look like a classic American muscle car or classic American car. But there was so much flair going on. They put a wing at the back. Maybe it was for a drag strip car. Just doesn't look right, and it looked just terrible. And a lot of the designs across the years, starting from the first edition, Jaded, had like flares on the side, some crazy artwork, and it just made it look worse and worse and worse. The last one, 2011, I went with Bad Mother. And this was designed by Jun Imai as well. And the reason why I went for Bad Mother is because Bad Mother looks like, or cloned or copied from the Jeep Wrangler. And Jeep Wrangler doesn't come across on Hot Wheels, maybe never. I know the Matchbox does it, but I don't recall, I may be wrong, Jeep Wranglers coming up on Hot Wheels or that often. And I feel like it was the Bad Mother that looked like a poor ripoff of a Jeep Wrangler, and it had really weird angles if you look quite carefully. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. We do weekly to 2 videos per week. And if you have a recommendations or if you have an opinion, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you really didn't like my opinion on the ugliest car, please let me know as well. Okay, follow us on the 164 Show on Instagram and TikTok for other materials such as unboxings and things that I don't do on these videos. But thank you so much for watching. See you next time.